Good morning. How's everybody feeling out there? What's going on? Welcome. How you
Good
feeling, Takia?
morning. I am tired, but I am good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Are you adjusting to the time in Korea? Yeah, it might take a day or two.
No, I mean, I know I'm adjusted to the time. It's a ton of walking. The girl has realized
Mm-hmm.
that I am not in shape. It's no shape. I have no shapes that I'm in. I just want everybody to know. Okay. Before you come to South Korea, stretch. That's what I'm gonna do. You gotta stretch. You gotta start moving your legs. The amount of walking that is happening, and the fast walking. This isn't
Mm.
leisurely walking. This isn't like I'm taking a stroll. Okay, this is pele pele. Hurry, hurry,
Mm.
get that now, now. And the girl just wasn't ready for it. Only I was not ready.
It's funny
So
because and this morning, good morning, Diana. I see you. I'll let you up in a second. You know what?
mhm,
We were talking about Cannes. So the Cannes Lions Festival of Creative, the International Festival of Creativity,
mhm,
is happening in June. I think part of the film festival is actually happening right now, maybe. But then
mm,
um, the larger festival, because I don't know if people know it, but the Cannes Lions Festival is like over a span of like multiple things, and so like there's a film festival, but then there's also the just the greater festival that's happening, right?
mhm.
And I don't know if people always know that. So I went last year. It's beautiful. It's in the south of Cannes, the south of France, and you are walking like you're walking at a level that I've never walked in my
Mhm,
life. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Like
mhm.
this shout out to dang, why I can't think to freaking Lord have mercy. There we go.
Mm.
Perimenopause got me. It got me. You know what I'm
You gotta
saying?
call it. You gotta
I'm
call
like,
it out when it happens
get
to
you.
you.
Um anyway, somebody put a guide up online about it. And I said they forgot to tell you to bring an extra pair of feet because the
Yes.
level of walking, what kind of
Mm-mm.
shoes? What kind of like I
It's no
bought
shoe.
Dr. Scholl's. Okay. And
Mm-mm.
I don't even wear Dr. Scholl's. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
bought these because I was like, I read online. Okay. I walked like 30,000 steps. 30,000
Are you?
steps. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
In a day.
I want to say, I got to go back and look in a week for sure, but I want to say it was definitely about that in a day. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
It's wild the amount of walking and then to the realization that you are not in shape, like that you can't even. And that was what it was for me. Because when the older generation is passing you quickly, like they're moving, they're gone, they're out here. Okay, Granny walked right past me, ain't didn't flinch. Okay,
That's it.
okay, and I'm out here
And that
hooting and
might,
hollering.
you know what? And they talk about, why Korean skincare is so good. They got other elements. You see what I'm saying? They was wearing masks way before we was wearing masks. When I was there was 2018, I think it was 2019, and they was wearing masks. Yeah, like down the street.
I mean, I think, and I mean, and today it was a lot of I was learning a lot more today about like South Korean culture and how they created the ecosystem and the economic engine that they currently have, right? And so is the realization that it is all the things, right? So it's not just skincare, right? Because I'm a cosmetics company, so we're thinking about skincare and products and all of that, but it's your diet,
Oh
it's
yeah.
your exercise, it is the fact that they feel safe in their community, right? They have other external elements
Mm.
that they have going on, but within their communities, right? I'm not worried about if somebody's gonna mug me, break into my house. I might get shot. My kids getting, hurt at school. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not worried. It's certain things that they're not worried
Mm.
about, and we tend to think, well, we just need to put an eye patch on, or or we need to lower our anxiety, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's not just a one size fits all. You can't just cream it away, right? You have
Right.
to address some other things. And I think that being here just in this short period of time, it is the addressing of the other things, right? And I'm sure they have, things that are also going on. But when you can get a full meal, and I mean their money is different, but I'm here, so I'm using I have US dollars. But when you can get a full meal for $7
Yeah.
and
I
not
I
a healthy meal, a healthy
and so
meal.
this is one of the reasons too, like why I've been so focused on nervous system regulation. So I became a breathwork practitioner, sound healer, and I'm like, I realized, yeah, we gotta regulate our nervous systems. Like we're missing that part. To your point, you can't cream it away. You can't no mask, no 30-minute mask is gone, no level of
Mm-hmm.
Botox filler,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be able to get you to that place of like, you need to regulate your nervous
Mm-hmm.
system, calm your anxiety. We need to think about it from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
know that, and understanding that of course every human has some level of stress, as a part of just daily life. So I'm by no means saying that there is no stress here. There is. There are stressful situations and different things, but it was that realization today as I was hiking a half a mountain. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a half a
Listen,
mountain. I,
I
I
want
know it
so
was a half a mountain.
speaking of realizations, I want to bring on our first guest. Because what she realized is that people who if you have Airbnbs, if you have properties that are being cleaned, I mean, you're going to need some purview into that, right? Like you're going to need to peer in
Mm,
that. You're going to need to note whether or not the cleaners did their thing. You're going to need to note whether or not, because you might be managing your property at a distance, and you might be you're needing to keep that property turned over, keep it keep it clean and all those things. And so in this world of remote managing of almost everything in our life, and
mm,
in this world where AI is driving us to even be able to remotely manage better, um Diana, she started a company called Clean. Diana
mm,
Maturia, her company's called Clean, CLYN. And she's a visionary, founder, product leader, and entrepreneur focused on building companies that solve meaningful operational problems at scale. As the CEO of Clean, she is pioneering an AI powered quality assurance layer for cleaning and property operations. Coming to the stage. Okay,
uh-oh.
everybody, welcome. Diana. Hello, good
Diana.
morning.
Hi, ladies. How are y'all?
Good. How are you, beautiful?
Good, beautiful. I was looking at your lipstick. I was like, "That's bomb." Is that only in? Are you right? Where are you right now in the world?
I'm in South Korea right now, but I'm based in Baltimore, Maryland.
That lip color is nice. Is it
Thank
just?
you.
Did you get it in South Korea?
No,
No,
it's
I make this.
hers.
It's mine.
I need to make my order.
Listen, I'll make sure you make your order beautiful. I will make sure you get all the information so you can.
Ma'am, I'm gonna
It's
need you
red.
first. First of all, run that back. What is the name of the? What is the name of the? Come on now. What's the name
So the
of the
name of
color?
the okay, here we go. So the
Okay.
name of the color is Crazy Johns, and it is at kikithunder.com. So that is KIKITHUNDA.com. She is online right now, so you can order her. It is a liquid matte lipstick. So
Hmm.
I've had this lipstick on and with no refresh since 5 a.m.
Yeah, my
It is
daughter done
here.
locked herself out. Hold on, y'all keep talking.
Okay,
I'll be right
go
back.
ahead. It is now 9:11 p.m. here. So I don't retouch my makeup in any way, shape, or form. So that is this lip color. But and thank you so much for asking and allowing me to share. But I'm so excited to talk to you today, Diana, because what you are affording to the world is absolutely phenomenal. So, can you tell us all about Clean, your amazing company, Clean, and what you offer to entrepreneurs who may have an Airbnb or some type of property that they need to have maintenance on a regular basis?
Yeah, and thank you, Takia. Again, just beautiful, beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful work you've done.
Thank
I
you.
used to be a model in my 20s, and
Mhm.
so I've tested a lot of cosmetic, and one of
Yeah.
them is like you cannot find a good red lipstick for our skin color. So
Mm.
that came out really beautifully.
Thank you so much.
So yes, my name is Diana Muturia. I'm originally from Kenya.
Mm.
What I'm building is called Clean CLYN, and it's basically cleaning intelligence.
Mm.
So we're seeing that a lot of property managers, a lot of Airbnbs are having a issue with quality. And so you find that we have like an expanded, a bloated amount of Airbnbs. And then
Mhm.
we see that the bottom of the barrel are kind of just like pushed away out of the market. And so there's this big opportunity for property managers who love to give guests great experience, great quality, having to buy more properties and add more properties in portfolio. And that's really hard to scale. It's hard to scale with cleaning turnover, it's hard to scale with quality, and it's really just hard to manage and walk through each and every one. So what we did is we utilized the workflow that they already have, which is cleaner stake photos. However, that workflow is not enough. So cleaners, when they take photos, they put it maybe in a WhatsApp group, 40, 50, 60 photos. The property manager doesn't have time to look through 40 photos of each and every property. Let's say they have 20. So at the end of the day, the guest is the one who is the quality assurance person. We don't
Mm.
want that. We don't want it to be a 1 star review. I found dirt under the bed, a 1 star review. What I didn't find toiletries, a 1 star review. The towels are missing. So we take those photos, we parse them through AI against their checklist for those properties, and you can customize them. And then it provides a report back to the cleaner immediately and the property manager. So, as a person who has, let's say, 20, 40 Airbnbs, even 100 Airbnbs, you can know exactly what is missing, what is broken, and what cleaner is not doing, they're not performing as they should. And you get that in literally seconds. So, we are like, instead of trying to find a solution to fix the problem, let's find a solution that just completely annihilates the problem.
Wow. That is awesome. I mean that is awesome because I know I've stayed at an Airbnb and I wonder about this too about and even in hotels.
Yeah,
Yes, where I stayed in places and where you come in, right?
yeah.
And is and you don't have the thing, the toilet paper or somebody left something and they didn't get it from under the bed, and then and I never thought about the guest being the quality assurance person.
Yeah, that part, when she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, that's so real. You do not want the guest to be the quality assurance. So,
Yes.
you
No,
know, the guest is coming in with fresh eyes, right? We
yeah,
coming in being like, wait a minute, what, especially when you go into a new Airbnb, you
yeah.
like, where's everything? You pulling everything back. Yeah, you thoroughly check.
Yes, and it's great because it keeps everybody accountable. It's not just the property managers and the cleaners, but sometimes you can get guests who would walk away with the plants or a frame on the wall. And so you don't want to lash at your cleaners and say, hey, this is missing, what happened, it's a he said she said thing. So it just really just standardizes cleanliness and tidiness. On top of that, giving you, what the report is about the quality of your properties.
One of the things that you've been doing, and I have a new puppy, so y'all might hear her. I don't know if y'all can hear her. She's going crazy in the background. But one of the things that that I really love that you're doing too, like you're building, more publicly too. So you're going online, you're doing these videos about like what you've learned, due to different processes. So I mean, definitely founders out there, follow her on YouTube where she's like going through like, hey, I was gonna take this bet, but then here's what happened when I tried to take this bet, or like here's what I'm learning. And I love that. One, I also just want to like really give you your flowers for a moment around. I feel like at BGV, you have really taken every opportunity and really dug into it. And that's why we do this work. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think that some founders, they come in and they'll get opportunities. It's great, and I want to provide as many opportunities to as many people to experience them however they experience them. I think what I've been seeing with you is like you really take it serious and you're really like doubling down, going all the way with like every opportunity that we've been able to provide for you. And I'm just like, I just want to say thank you for that. And like really it matters to us, right? Like I want to be impactful. You know what I mean? We want our work to really help founders. And so when we see founders being like, no, I'm about to take, you gonna give me, oh, you giving me that? Oh, all right. Like I'm about to take that and go as far as I can with it. It's really important to me. So thank you for participating. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
That's
Omi. I
awesome.
always say an opportunity is a responsibility. So anytime you find an opportunity, you got to take it seriously. You don't know if it's the last time you're going to get that opportunity. You don't know who's watching and paying attention. And so an opportunity is not just like a trophy, like, hey, look, I got this. It's really a responsibility. We got to take it seriously. You don't know if that is the pathway that is going to make the breakthrough. And honestly, Black Girl Ventures has been such a big blessing in my life, especially now with what's going on around the country. You are literally holding a lot of these businesses up together right now in a cultural situation where they would not even care for. So I want to give back those flowers to you for just having this together.
This is like a flower fest. Like I'm over here, like this is like a flowerful. You know what I mean? Like we had a flower mart. And I'm just loving all the flowers, just like floating around here. It's making me excited.
Not
It,
weird, a
it,
flower mart. I can't.
it's the best. It's the best because as we grow in these businesses, Omi, and I really do believe this. Like I really do believe. I know for myself, my success hinges on the success of other Black women in business. Like I absolutely cannot be successful unless other Black women are. And so I believe that, and I walk in that mission. And as you build out clean, right? As you build that out, recognizing that you're building out a workflow and an infrastructure that can be utilized by entrepreneurs who are just starting and who have no clue what they're doing, right? You understand what I mean, Diana? I'm sure. I know, like, I couldn't imagine starting an Airbnb, right? And I bought it in Memphis. You know what I mean? And I live in New York and I'm trusting somebody, to go in and do what they're supposed to do. But I have nothing, I'm just like, they're doing it. I'm paying them. You know what I'm saying? Everything's good. And then it's just like up in
What's
the
up?
air. Like,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. What made you
I wonder.
start it?
Oh,
Oh, I'm
good.
sorry. Go ahead,
No, no,
Omi.
no.
No,
That's a
I'm
good
sorry.
question. What made you start it?
Oh man. So the story behind it is I came to the US when I was 18 and I came to study math and mechanical engineering. And in my last year of college, this new math advisor said, I don't look like an engineer. And it was scholarships that were taking me through school. So I lost all of them. And I found myself cleaning homes. And I said, you know what? I don't have money to go back home and I have nothing to lose at this point. So I went to the public library, started playing around with things. I played around with CAD, I played around with code. And then I was like, let me just make something to help my cleaning business and my cleaner friends. Because at that time, I had started to know a lot of cleaners in the neighborhood that I was staying in. And long story short, I built the first iteration. It got like 3,000 users in 2 months during the pandemic. And I was like, this is a big problem. I didn't think it would be this big of a problem. But it has evolved since then. It's not a marketplace anymore. The marketplace is integrated within the platform. But what we realize is that people are not looking for cleaners. That's the second pain point. The first pain point is, can I trust them? So we ended up building the quality assurance AI part.
That's just
Wow. First of all, you don't look like an engineer. It's BS. Like, who the hell? Like, what? That's
You will be surprised. I thought this was a unique story. A lot of immigrants of color get this a lot. They try to push, even women of color, they try to push women of color, especially Black women, out of the STEM pipeline. That's something I got to know once I started talking about my story, because I was ashamed about my story. I'm like, I'm a dropout. But then I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to share it anyway. And every single time I would get an immigrant, a Black woman, a Hispanic woman telling me that that happened to me, telling me, oh my gosh, you don't know how much I can relate to that. It's crazy. The systemic racism is so real, and it goes right under the people's noses of people who are privileged. They don't really understand how it actually works.
no 100%.
I'm I'm like, you know how you just like we know, and the thing about it is happening to us so often, and
Yes.
it's so sad that we've normalized it. And we've normalized it to a point where we don't even like it's almost like okay, and then you just move on because it's just like you feel like there's nothing that you can do
Yeah.
right to combat that. And Omi, we were having a discussion about AI utilization, and if we're using it and how to use it and implementation and that sort of thing. And we were talking about this narrative, right? That Black people are not using, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and is that one of those things that is going underneath people's noses? Like people of privilege are putting out that narrative. You know what I mean? Like Diana doesn't look like an engineer, but and Black people aren't using AI. You know what I mean? Like, is that what's really being put in the forefront? Have you faced any of that as you've built out your platform?
Yeah, I've had VCs who, after like have a call with an investor, I literally go through the demo, and they would say, "That's not a platform. That's not real." I've had investors literally say that. So it happens even now where
Mm,
they have a perspective of an engineer looks like, a Asian man, a white man, but not this meat suit. And so I not only have to push to make sure that my platform is known and it is invested in and all these things, but I also have to really stand firm about what they would have in their head. I bring the elephant in the room and I place it right on the table. And I say, so what's the problem? You have to be that way, because if you are kikiing and yeah, you got to be friendly with investors and all these things, I'm telling you, it's not always that way. You have to be, you got to be tough at times and say, okay, so what's actually the deal? Because I'm finding a lot of friction anytime I say something. You are saying no, da 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 da. Like what's the actual problem? Let's talk about it. Otherwise, you'll find yourself running in circles for a while, and that could affect the company.
Yeah, I think well, to the point you were making earlier. So, and I think this is the interesting in terms of like what narratives we adopt when we're Black life, Black people. We're not a monolith. Everybody's having all
mhm,
these different experiences that are absolutely experiences that matter. I think that
mhm,
that's the other piece too. Is like everybody's experience matters. I think for in a level of privilege that maybe as Black people we don't always think about too is I went to a HBCU that is known for engineering. So like my experience is totally different, right?
Mhm.
Like I went to North Carolina A&T, and that is like the premier HBCU for engineers. right? Like people are going to A&T to recruit Black engineers. We are number one in engineering as like HBCU, right? So it's kind of like, so if I say, because my degree is in computer science, so if I'm a computer scientist and I'm from A&T, then to a recruiter or to somebody who knows what that means, it's like, oh, bet, you know what I mean? Like, okay, that's top of the Black, HBCUs levels of engineers. Got it. You know what I'm saying? In that sense. And so that's not, I don't know, and then I didn't go into, like, I built a platform, but I built that platform after starting a nonprofit. So I didn't go immediately into engineering. So I think that, like, when I hear that, I'm like, what? That's crazy. Not crazy meaning like you're lying, but I'm saying, like, that's crazy that people are doing that. You know what I mean? Or saying that to people, or saying that who looks like an engineer in 2026 is wild right now.
It's
It's like, it's 2026. Anybody could be anything. That's stupid on the person saying it's part, because what rock are they living under? You know what I mean? Like
But you know what though? That brings up something about like microaggressions and then how we eat them, right? And so like I never really paid attention to any part of what we are discussing right now in regard to that kind of friction, until you just said it, right? Until you just brought it up. So, like you were talking about going to A&T, and having your degree, and like so you never thought about like I know Black engineers all the time, all of everywhere. But as somebody who did not graduate from a HBCU, who went to a PWI, right? And so, and my degree is in history, but my minor is in economics and public policy. And so when I speak, economics, right? When I'm talking to somebody, who's an economist, you know what I mean? And we're talking about economics and ecosystem building and public policy. And I start talking and they're looking like, well, how do you like where did what is that? And I don't really pay attention to it because you get so used to it. And that's what I think I was saying. Like we've gotten so accustomed to it that it's just kind of like, yes, I have a degree. I've studied economics. Yes. Like that's a part of hello.
and where what's interesting about that too is like your experience is also creating whether or not you even notice it. So I
Mm-hmm.
think, like,
Yeah.
is it like whether or not it even stings you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's times when, if I think back for real, I'm pretty sure it's because like race is a point of friction. But I'm just talking to you because I think what you're saying is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm debating about what you're saying. You might be having an underlying race issue, but I think it's like how this is the crazy part about from this psychologically. And I know, like, we want to get better talking about clean. I think this is the psychological part of this is so interesting for a couple of reasons. One, we're not often ready to have deep conversations with people that just believe the exact opposite of what we believe. Meaning, like, no matter what logic you give them, they have just as much logic for what they believe as you have for what you believe. It's just on the exact opposite side. And there's a lot of race, religion, like we can run a gamut of what things that could be, right? And then I remember when my oldest child graduated from college, they also went to A&T, and we were talking, and Sterling K. Brown was the commencement speaker, and he said something that's really stuck with me. He said, I didn't go to HBCU, I went to a PWI, but one thing about people who went to HBCUs is that you're surrounded by Black people advancing, right? And you take that experience with you everywhere you go. That is your norm. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I think about things. You know what I mean? And I grew up blackety Black too. You know what I'm saying? Majority Black elementary, majority Black middle school, majority Black high school, majority Black college. It wasn't until grad classes that I really even had been in a classroom that was not majority Black. It wasn't until actually teaching computer science in a high school that I had ever taught or been that where I was like a minority. So it's like my whole world looks different from somebody who has been in a world where they were the only person. So when I get into the room and I'm the only person, it doesn't resonate with me the same It's like, here go that trigger, here go Johnny saying this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't click for me the same, right? What might click for me is a different kind of safety, right? Like a different kind of safety around like how forward or abrasive are you being to my physical safety, right? So what might click for me is gender politics, right? Which is like, this man is too close to me. This man is in my space. Or what might click for me is things around like, you know, interaction between like different races and cultures, where I'm like, I notice things I do notice around like interaction between race and culture. But I wanted to bring it up because I think that's the part I don't hear us talk about a lot, which is like, whatever we were sort of environment we grew up in, it's also really dictating whether or not we even notice where these things are, or that these things are happening, and whether or not we have empathy for other people around these things happening to them, and saying like, no, like that's, you know, it's early in the morning, I guess, can't be dropping F-bombs in the morning, but it's like, you know, that's effed up. You know what I'm saying? That like somebody would even come out their mouth and question whether or not you are, you know, keen on economics or an expert engineer. You know, like it's just crazy whether you were, no matter what race you were or gender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just really weird. So then I often wonder, and this is not, nobody else needs to go this deep and wondering. It's just me going down rabbit holes. But I often be wondering, like, well, what was their experience that makes them, like, what were they surrounded by that makes them then decide to come out of their mouth that way? You know, and now that, like, you know, with the whole MAGA regime, there's a battery in everybody's back to be vocal against anything racial or gender at this point. And it just feels, it's just terrible. Anyway, I'll stop there. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I didn't grow up here in the US, so I could sense a complete stark difference between what it's like to live a normal life as a girl versus living in the US as a black girl. It's such a stark difference,
Mm.
such a stark difference, to a point that when, because I did my schooling in some areas in Texas that are not friendly to black people. And there's some things that someone would say, and I would literally laugh because in my brain, I'm like, there's no way this person thinks that way. There's no way, you know? And they would look at me crazy, like, why are you laughing? I'm serious.
Wait, where did you grow up, Diana? Because I don't think you said that.
I grew up in Kenya. I grew up
Okay.
in Kenya. So when I came here, there's some things people would say, and I literally laugh because in my mind, it does not make sense to have those kinds of beliefs. The world is too big and the internet is so free that there's no way you would actually think a certain kind of stereotype, a certain kind of this, a certain kind of that. So I did have a lot of friction with a few people where they even, you know, crashed out because they're like, do you think this is a game? And I'm like, it sounds like it because I don't know who would think like that. You know, so the stark difference is really high. If I'm in Kenya and I graduate engineering, it's a very normal thing. There are tons of Kenyans who are graduating from engineering, all kinds of engineering. But here, somehow, someone's looking at me, questioning if I'm supposed to be in the room. I'm supposed to, it does not make any sense. I had professors who would literally lock their door because they know I'm going to show up and ask for some extra help. Things like that. Or they would be like dismissing me, but bringing in, welcoming the European immigrants because they're better to digest in their mind. So those things is something that you just notice. Like in Kenya, I don't have to even worry about the police. You know, when you see a police, you're like, ah, you know, I definitely did a mistake. You know, I used to joke to my friend and to say that in Kenya, I grew up as a white girl because, like, the kind of, you know, way that police would treat me is like they'll wiggle their hand and say, "Don't do that again." I'm like, "Okay, okay, officer," and then you get home. But here, my heart starts beating, my palms get sweaty because I don't know if it's going to be the last day. So it's such a stark difference of like how a Black person lives here in the US compared to other places of the world. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, 100%. That's a whole show. You know
Hey,
what I mean? Yeah, it's a
glad you
whole show. Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
no.
even look. I was sitting here like, wow,
That's a whole
wow.
show by itself for real to really talk
Just
about that from a um just from a cultural
yeah.
perspective
Hmm.
across multiple different places because yeah, that
And I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. I know we need to let Diana go, but I think it's a conversation that needs to be had as as we start to digest what we're currently living in, our current state of affairs, but also if we plan on ever healing within our cultural communities and moving forward as a collective of human beings. We need to have that conversation to shed light on some things. So thank you for bringing that up, Diana, because these are like the hard conversations that need to be had. These are the truths that need to be told. And then these are the veils that need to be pulled away as we try to, as we not try, as we navigate
yeah.
this landscape. So I thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. You can solve a problem without looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
word and the problem that you've decided one of the problems that you've
Mm-hmm.
decided to look at is quality assurance for property
Mm-hmm.
managers. And so clean.com, CLYN.com, y'all make sure y'all go check it out, especially if you're managing properties out there. And I think too, like not if you even if you're not a direct property manager, I think there's a couple intersections here too with quality assurance checks. Any of you are insurance agent out there, if you're a if I mean honestly, I see this expanding into project management and construction. For real. I mean, I think that's a real lane in terms of like property quality assurance. So I'm excited to see where you go. I also saw recently, real quick, that there's this AI now where it can map the houses, and so the real estate community is like in a little frenzy because they're like, oh, they don't have to show. What if we don't have to show houses anymore, or whatever, something like that. I was like, I don't even know why people are concerned about that. We're gonna still need humans to show houses, but maybe you get to it quicker. You maybe get to more serious buyers. So I can also see like real estate industry, construction. Like I can see a lot of places that this could fit. So I'm excited to see where you go and where you grow. Thank you for joining us.
I actually wanted to add one more thing about that because that's a really good point. We've gotten to an era where we're now managing results. So if you change your mindset and say, okay, this is the era now that we're managing results. We're not managing people, we're not managing things, we're managing results. Now you need to
Mm,
adjust with what AI is doing right now. Otherwise, if you panic and feel like, oh, I can't, like something is going to happen wrong, then of course there are things that are happening wrong, right? Like we're not just going to bypass that. But if you change to, okay, how do I manage results? Then you'll start having the motivation and the excitement to use AI in your daily tasks.
thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you,
Have a
ladies.
great,
All right. Bye.
beautiful.
I feel like I'm lagging. Am I lagging?
No,
No? Okay, good.
not on
Okay.
my end. Mm-mm.
Okay, good, good, good. We have our next guest here.
Woo.
Yeah, we have Brittany. I'm gonna bring her up in a second. I think
You
yeah,
see how I'm
that's
looking at you? You see how I had to pull
it's
back? I
so
had to.
much, it's so much there in that conversation. I love how she said we're in the era of results because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
first
Mm-hmm.
of all, if I'm being honest, I feel like this is what I've been thinking about, and I've been like anxious about it for a long time. But in terms of it's like, come on, y'all, let's do the thing, do the thing, do the thing. And I think like now, what one of the things she said is like this shift in mindset that has to happen. So
Mm.
here's the way I've been painting the picture to people, right? So, and Brittany, I'm sorry, we're gonna bring you hold tight, okay? Here's what I've been telling people around this AI situation, right? Is like now it's a cause for It's a call to another skill set, another part of you that we weren't working as often. So let's take it back. So let's say at some point, right, in order to cook food, people were cooking food over open fire. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So open fire, and then then there was like a stove that also had fire. So they developed a whole industry around cooking with fire, right? So then you had like a long paddle where you put the food into the open fire oven, and then like I'm sure people develop whole tactics around like, well, if you put it closer to the fire, then it burns this way. If you turn it this way, then it burns like that. And if you want this kind of cooking, then you burn it this, like whole like ways of being, all centered around cooking on top of fire, right? And then voila, the modern day stove was created. The in-home stove was created, right? And now with the in-home stove being created, guess what you had to get good at? Turning some knobs and timing. You no longer had to worry about how close you put it to the fire. Maybe you put it on a certain rack in the oven. But other than that, now your whole skill set was around how long does not something need, now that the temperature is guaranteed, how long does something need to stay at this temperature in order for it to cook to the degree that I want it? Now that's all you got to think about. You're not thinking about the fire, the long paddle. Those paddles are now obsolete, unless you're cooking like at a pizza oven. But like now that's not a thing. Now you're not buying certain wood to go into the fire. Like none of that's happening anymore, because now you have this modern day stove. Well, all you gotta do is turn a couple knobs, wait for it to heat up, and then now you're at the exact temperature that you wanted. And now you can put the thing right where you need it to be. And all you got to do is just time it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm sharing with people is what is happening with AI and us right now. And this is just basics. I'm not the full picture of it, but just the basis of where you got to shift your thinking is it now requires reading and reviewing more than it required knowing everything. So before, in order to write anything, in order to build everything, you needed to know everything. Now you don't necessarily need to know everything. You don't need to know the intricacies of fire as much. You need to be able to ask it questions that it can ask you. And then you need to read and review. Read, review, rewrite. Read, review, rewrite. Like read, review, edit. Read, review, edit. Read, review, edit. That is now your daily skill, is reading results that it gives you, reviewing to make sure it says what you wanted to say, going back and telling it to do something different. And like read, review, and edit is now the new like skill to get good at. Versus like before, you might be doing some read and review and edit, but that was like somebody else might read and review and edit, or it was not the biggest part of it. It's like shifting your mindset to say like, what I don't have to do anymore, and what do I now have to do, because now maybe it's at the best temperature. Now I can put this food in here, set it to the temperature, and give me what I want. Now that's where we're having to shift our mindset. They're like, yeah. How are we gonna get into it? What are we gonna do now to figure it out?
I think that's really good, and I think it's really good to give that kind of example as people try to navigate how to execute in the age of AI, right? Because it's not about like, I think people are using it. I think it's just about what does this look like, and what does execution looks differently, and also we have to give ourselves permission to not always be the workhorse. You know what I'm saying? Like you because we've always placed value on our ability to work. How much can you work? You know what I mean? Like how much is physical laboring, right? So, mental labor, you're putting your hands on everything. And I think as we navigate this new space, right, we're navigating a space where now you do not have to labor in the same way. Yes. And so you get an opportunity to actually see in real time, you know what I mean, how things can progress when you're not always the laborer, right? When somebody else when labor is placed in a different space, and then you have to develop a new skill set, because that's a new thing. Like now I'm not a laborer. That was a skill I knew, right? I knew that well. I knew how to, get these emails out. I knew how to complete these tasks, right? But when you're building a business, right, it's not task based. Like at a certain point, you have to remove like you're no longer the tasker. Like that's not it. Other people are doing the task. So let that AI task, and you have to now become the visionary, right? Like you're the you're what, and that's hard. Like
It
it's
is
hard when
hard. Oh
it's hard to
man.
be the visionary.
I got so many thoughts on that. Let me bring up
I
Brittany
know.
before she just be sitting
Bring
here for the
yeah,
whole show.
bring
You know,
Brittany
because
up.
we
Bring
care. We want to hear what Brittany got to say.
we
You
want
know
to
what I'm
hear what
saying?
Brittany has to
I'm
say because she's
fascinated
gonna
by
talk.
people. I'm fascinated by people who focus on negotiation. So I got to hear this. Brittany
Okay.
is a senior PMP and negotiation strategist. She designs accelerators to promote social economic mobility through small business in urban communities. Okay, let's get her on up here, okay? Because she might have some stuff to say about something that we didn't say. Hey, good
Oh my
morning.
goodness. Hi. I can see. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. Can you see
Okay,
us?
I can't hear you guys anymore. I was listening to the call with Diana, which was so good. And then like my sound just went out. So hold on.
Okay, you want to go out? Can you hear? You want to go out and come back? Okay. Um, you know, oh my goodness. I mean, AI or not, the idea of like developing into a CEO has been a journey for me,
Oh
right? And I think like because sometimes you're a great manager,
yes,
right? Manager of tasks, manager. But are you a great like actual like CEO, like
yes,
executive officer,
yes.
like leader? Those are different
Leader.
things. Like
Yeah,
manager,
yeah.
like task manager, or
Or even a
people manager
supervisor,
or a
right? Like
supervisor.
yes, like a supervisor, like that's different, right? And no, like not taken away from what is necessary to do these roles because those are very key roles in organizations, right? Having managers and supervisors, but so is having the visionary, like the having the person that has the vision, you know what I mean, that creates that ecosystem and that culture, you know what I mean, and drive that push forward is very key. And a lot of us are stagnant because we refuse to leave the role of supervisor. We refuse to stop
Mm,
managing. We refuse. And now
mm,
look at now we out here loose. I'm talking to
mm.
myself. I'm
So
talking to me.
refuse and we are afraid.
See, I didn't want to
Okay.
bring that up. See, Omi, now you didn't put that on that table. Now you didn't slap that down. You didn't slap that down.
Afraid. Let's be clear.
Okay. Well, Brittany,
Okay.
When you bring
Okay.
Brittany
Well,
back, then
Brittany's back. She back. All right. Let me bring her back up because look, we might have to, we can
you
get
might
in
have
on
to.
that.
But y'all on it. Y'all are so on it. Y'all are so on it. And I know it from both ways.
Yeah.
Brittany,
So
come in here, snatch your edges, Brittany.
right,
Snatch them
right.
out.
Legacy Luxury Academy. That is what you have. The Legacy and Luxury Academy. Tell us about it.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to begin. So initially, I'm from Baltimore, born and raised. I moved to, I know, and people was like, "No, you're not from Baltimore." I said, "Cause you don't know what words to ask, right? You can't ask me to say Baltimore. You gotta ask me to say cucumber or coupon." And then that's when you,
Don't do us. Don't do us. Don't do us.
you know, when you get to coupon, you hear the ew, and that's not how the word is coupon. But there are ways to figure out who's Baltimorean and who isn't. But I'm from Park Heights and RNG originally. I moved to Chicago 3 years ago. And I want to say about 2021, 2022 was like the hardest years I had in Baltimore. I just got my master's. I have a now she'll be 13 this summer, and figuring out like how to bring in the income to do whatever I needed to do was just very difficult. And I feel like when you're oppressed, the only thing you have is a dream, right? So
Mm,
at that time, I've been building programs for such a long time, and I was shopping programs around, but nobody was buying. The economy had just changed because of COVID. So I need to reorg the way I did my company. And as a single mom, the Legacy and Luxury Academy, I thought came to me naturally, but now I feel like came to me divinely. So I was building accelerators for socioeconomic mobility, right? I had so many people look at me as like, how did you do it? How did you stay home until she was 4? How did you, go to school and get jobs and things like that? And then I would go in these boardrooms with old white Jewish men, some who I love because without them I wouldn't be who I am, but some, looked at me like, how'd you get here? We didn't make it for you to be here. So, who are you that you're in this room with this authority? And I've never liked being the only one. I always wanted somebody else in there that's like, you know what, we're going to get through the trenches of this room together and then we're going to have impact together. So the Legacy of Luxury Academy started out as me building accelerators based on my own life and what it was. But something was missing. I didn't know the funding pipeline. I didn't know how to ask for funding. I just knew that this was the next thing. Accelerators and incubators weren't big things at this time. So I stopped building, I stopped dreaming. I'm like, you know what? It's not working, but everything is on this MacBook, okay? So I moved to Chicago and I got a job as a director of strategic partnerships. I'm a PMP who focuses on ecosystems and frameworks. I've done work with mayor's offices and things like that. So it worked for me. And that was my first taste of Chicago. And I learned what the Windy City really means. So then I ended up getting another job once I realized, okay, this is not for me. Based on me building incubators and accelerators. And that is when I learned. So everything that I did not have to make the Legacy and Luxury Academy happen, I hit the ground running. Things I didn't think I could do, I did. And I was able to have health insurance and dental insurance and make six figures and be a mom comfortably, right? So then it was like, okay, if I say I'm this Harriet Tubman, if I'm this Moses, if I'm leading single mothers, right, through socioeconomic mobility, helping them jump classes. This is what I needed to experience. So I couldn't finish it because the story wasn't done, right? I needed to learn what it was like to bring in the income. I needed to learn what it was like to live the way I needed to live. And I needed to see what it was like to manage a $30 million budget. I needed to see what it was like to write for it, to build the RFPs, where the money was coming from, who the decision makers were, and how that was happening. I needed to increase my emotional intelligence, and I needed a national network. I'm a person with a proclivity to piss people off, and I'm not afraid of it. I am from Baltimore through and through, right? Which means I've thought about it 20 times before it ever came to my mouth. I'm very strategic in the way I move. And I'm not interested in hurting people or making decisions that hurt people. I'm not perfect, right? But I believe like when we come across systems and things like that hurt people, you need to say something. For example, one year I didn't pay property taxes on my house, so my house went on the tax sale list, right? Because I had the connections in Baltimore, I could pick up the phone and say, hey, this is what I'm going on, and somebody at City Hall made sure I was okay. Then I realized, like, wait, there's this thing called blight, and it's happening to a lot of people, and it's happening to a lot of single mothers who are the heads of households. So then I'm like, what happens to those who can't make a phone call? So I spoke to someone who I had access to, and I'm like, look, we can't do this policy if the trade-off is this. And she goes, well, that's the game. And I say, well, the game is effed up, and she didn't like that, right? So you piss people off when you do things the way that you need to do them. So the reason why I say the Legacy and Luxury Academy is divine.
Wait, you said there's a thing called what? What was the word that you said? Blight?
Blight, yes. I was like, wait, I talk a lot. Yeah.
What is blight? I don't know if
blight is basically the removal of Black people from, this is my Ebonics definition.
Like Black flight or like blight?
No, it's blight.
It's
blight.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like the removal of people from things that they own, so that 9 times out of 10, so that gentrification can take place, right? So it's like, and this is actually a real story. I had a house in Baltimore that was paid off in cash. And I think I owed a year and a half on property taxes. And during COVID, is it okay to say white? Some white man and his son came to my house, knocked on my door during shutdown, and I opened the door with me and my daughter, and they told me they needed to come and look around. And I was like, what? And they were like, well, we bought the deed to your house and blah, 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 blah. So basically at that time, Morgan State was redoing an area. It was like a shopping center near my house. And that was bringing lots of investors and gentrification in this neighborhood next to the university. So this person wanted to tell me that the $5,000 he had paid on property taxes gave him right to my house, that he could come in and I can just go be homeless, right? So it's basically a way of like profiting off of people's poverty or hardship so that they can come up. You now get a house that I paid $148,000 for $5,000, and you
Oh,
brought your
that's
son to
happening all
teach him
over
a lesson.
Baltimore. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Detroit.
yeah. Yeah, it
Okay.
happens all over the it's
Yeah.
all over the country, right? And it's it has its history and all kinds of things, and they use all kinds of things, vacant lots, abandoned buildings, like all of those things as a mechanism to weaponize tax sales and that sort of thing too. But go
Don't
ahead.
we
But
do it too though? Like I don't know if it's just a white thing or just most of the construction people are white. Most of the large property management or construction companies end up being white. But don't we also do that? No, I mean, like, don't people do that? Like, I don't
I
know.
feel
Is
like
it?
it's two ways. I feel like it could be predatory
hmm
when it comes to hardship. Like sometimes people say I didn't know the law and I didn't have someone I couldn't call. If a threat was on my door saying you have to leave your property and I left it, they could come back to my house and say it was vacant and seize rights to it, right? Me opening the door with my child mean it was still someone was living there, so
Still
they couldn't
living
do
there,
it, but
right?
it wasn't legal, right? So when it comes to people not knowing the law, when it comes to senior citizens who own their houses, and can't pay mortgages and things like that, because that you have the ability to not buy it to own it, but buy it to flip it and resell it and make more equity, it does more harm to the community than good. I didn't have a sham of a house. I had a very beautiful house that was, that was living in. So I think, and I also have a sister who works in real estate who, buys homes to flip them too. So I understand what you're asking on me. Like, yeah, people do it, but I think it's like the heart and the intention. Are you coming to completely erase who's in that zip code so that you can flip it to what it's supposed to be and then place everyone else who you feel like it doesn't matter in a neighborhood that you guys no longer want? Or are you doing it just because it's like, what, this is the business? So I'm
Where's
not.
the work? I know you didn't come and talk about this, but now we was talking about this all day. I told you, like, divinely somehow these topics that we have every day just end up
hmm
being like what needs to be said.
hmm
Where's the work on stuff like this, right? Because like I'm the kind of person I'm like, what do we practically? Because is it on the helping people negotiate once they get into a pickle work side? Is it on the people need to stop doing it side? Is it on the, you know what I mean? And the reason why I ask that is because playing the law is something that I feel like we don't often get um the credibility, notoriety, inspiration to do. And then when it's played against us, quote unquote, then we're like, well, why'd you play it against me? And it's like, well, should we be playing it against them? Like, which is what you end up doing in a sense, right? You end up being like, nah, I know the law, I'm gonna play it back. I just wonder sometimes, like, is there a mindset shift for our fight back?
It isn't. I
That
think it's a.
that
Ooh,
Like,
it's
is
a
there a
paradigm
mindset shift
shift,
for our
but
fight
it's
back? Like,
also.
I'm not like F them. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, you can make a
I
call.
think, but
Somebody
you know
else
what
can't
though?
make a
Accountability
call.
that
So how
needs
do
to
we
take place
systematize the
first, right?
knowledge?
It's
I think that
Like,
there.
accountability that needs to take place. Like, I think um one of the reasons why, so I have a master's degree in project management with a concentration in education. And it's not just K through 12. I do adult learners too. Those are the accelerators and incubators that I build. And one of the things that I do first is a root cause analysis. I look for what's missing and what's wrong. And 9 times out of 10, that answer is always ignorance. It's always in education, we have a word called meritocratic neoliberalism. And it basically means like if everybody is given the same opportunity, then they should all have the same outcome. But that's a lie, right? So it's like when I always say Baltimore's such a free place until you get black and wealthy. Now people putting liens on your property. Now something's wrong with your business. Now you have all these issues. Now you want to buy commercial property, it's gonna be very difficult, right? So it's like when you get to that, it isn't just like, oh, how do we fight back? It's like we don't have the education as the biggest tool. One of the things that I did not know was like if you buy a house cash, you can skip a line. Nobody, you're not going to a class. You're not doing anything. You can do whatever you want. And so many Black people, for whatever reasons, get all these lump sums of money, and then we just out here doing whatever it is we want to do, right? So the first thing is, I always tell people, you need to know the laws of the land. If you're gonna get pregnant in the state, what are the laws against mothers and single women? If you're gonna buy a house in the state, what are the laws that, if you have X amount of money, what are the laws? So if X, Y, and Z happens, I need a mitigation strategy. I need a contingency plan. But we're not taught to think like that. Like, we're not, even in life, many of us don't think about our death in the way that it impacts other people. So when it comes to blight or any situation like that or any fight back, it's like, okay, what do they know that I don't? That's the first thing. And who do I need to hitch my wagon to? What book do I need to read? What library do I need to go to? What TikTok do I need to put in the key search to just figure out half that information? Because, like, I know from making the mistakes. I don't know from a point of an academic. I can play with government structures and negotiate because of my education, but everything I learned was by slapping my head against concrete. So it's like when I see somebody else, like, okay, I want to buy a house, I want to do this. Like, wait a minute. Okay, you own your house outright. Whose name is it in? Mine. Why? Is it a trust? Suppose you fall on hard times, right? How easy is it for someone to go downtown and get a lien on your property against you? Like, there's so many wiggle rooms that we don't know. And again, people can say the law wasn't created for us, and
Wait,
was
Taki, I
it?
want to let you chime in. What's your thought?
No, I mean, I think Baltimore is very because you were speaking directly about Baltimore, right? In this particular instance of blight. There are tons of organizations inside of Baltimore who is doing the heavy lift of dealing with the blight issue that has been happening in Baltimore for, at this point, decades. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't something that started yesterday. This is decades in the work of, Baltimore, starting way back with redlining and probably before then, right? So these are disinvested neighborhoods, and a lot of people, and Baltimore has had to pass laws and make recompense, right? Like, they had to make amends for what they had been doing to homeowners, right, in regard to putting their homes on, on a tax lien, and taking people's homes and their properties and things like that. So I think it's going to take a lot of hard work of community in general. So the city does own some responsibility for what has been happening, because the city does put these homes on the property lien list for it even to start the process. So the city has to adjust and act accordingly. People do need to do their homework and their research and be very educated about the different things as it relates to, purchasing a home or properties and all types of things wherever you are. So yes, and then two, there are developers who are doing the work, but there are developers who are not. And we're seeing that a lot within our cities, where you have, right now we're battling in South Baltimore, where we having a major development popping up, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing on the water. However, they're now selling $300,000 homes in a neighborhood that once was selling homes for $50,000. And so when you do things like that, as soon as they sell that $300,000 home, the property taxes for the $50,000 home now shoots through the roof. And these are legacy homes that have been passed down from generation to generation, or have older adults in it who are living on a fixed income. So I think that there are a number of things that we need to do to address blight and how we can manage these types of things. And yes, we do need to start playing the hard game. We do. We do. And there are organizations who are playing hardball out here and who are snatching up properties the same way everybody else is. However, we also need to make sure that we are building and doing things in decency and order that would allow individuals to not be displaced in gentrification. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want revitalization. I just want my home too. Like, I want to be able to afford, like, revitalize my neighborhood, please and thank you. I want some homes and some markets and all of those things. I just want to be able to afford to stay here. when you finish with the revitalization efforts, right? And I think that's happening too. We're pushing people out because they can't afford to stay there. It's not that they didn't take care of their properties, they weren't amazing humans. And these are the same individuals who were the anchor institutions within their communities. So these are the people that were there before people was coming and sweeping up in their gutters and cleaning up stuff. Those are those neighbors that we're pushing out now. So we have to do a better job of that.
Absolutely. I love that so much, Takia. The way I look at it specifically is like a workforce development perspective. That's where I hold the most jurisdiction. I'm just a person who experienced the property thing from personal testimony. But when I got to the root of it, it was like, okay, well, what changed for me that made me experience this? And it was my ability to bring in income. You know what I mean? It was me being a host of intersectionalities and not the city of Baltimore per se, but I feel like this smoke and mirrors racist system wanted to remind me that, yeah, you got a little bit of the leg up, but at the end of the day, you are a Black single mother to us. And we need to teach you a lesson about what that's like and the way that this system is built for you to live. We need you to put your kid in in public school, because every butt in the seat at that time was about $12,000, right? We need you on social services so that everybody who put their money in the social services pot can make their money back. We need you on a voucher. And I realized it was this donut in public health, in policy and things like that. That was like, okay, it's not just woe is me, because I'm not a victim, right? You know, I didn't do things the way that I needed to do, but it was like, this is the way that the system is set up, and I don't know how, but nothing in me wants to comply with what's been made available to me. Nothing in me wants to be on Section 8. Nothing in me wants to be on food stamps. Nothing in me wants to be like, okay, I have to choose between uh going to get on child support just to get something so my daughter can have child care so I can go to work at PNC where I'm not even making enough money to even pay my bills in the first place. So it's like all those things are what made me like, okay, and everything that's a loophole. If I take my life, put it on paper, and erase Brittany out of it, what is the pattern? And what have I seen? And when I start talking to other women, what do I see? And when I start doing some research and getting online, what do I see? And what is the difference between where I'm from and where I am now? So that is the biggest thing for me. I'm a big component of people not ending the way they started, right? I'm a big component of, you need to make X amount of money to bring in what you need to take care of your family and then some. So the Legacy and Luxury Academy, I put it down because I didn't feel like I was ready for it in that time. There was so much I didn't know. But now, with everything that I know now, oh, I'm gunning for every mother who is raising a child in education, in workforce, in going back to school, and making your money. Is out there. I've seen it. They're gonna, racism is a living evil. It draws new margins every time somebody else get in that seat. And we have to be proactive and figure out what's going on and work backwards. I don't like being the only one. And I love the life that my daughter has, even with some of the hard parts that come from it. But it's not just for me. It's everybody. It's an accelerator. It's an incubator. And this is where we are.
So, real quick, because we have our next guest, we need to let you go as well. For the Legacy and Luxury Academy, could you give me like a succinct, it is a 8-week, 12-week
So it is
XYZ, we do bop, bop, bop. Can you give me like a straight, like,
It is a nonprofit with two tracks. One is an incubator and one is an accelerator. The incubator are for women who's just like, oh, okay, I just became a single mother. What is this? It comes with a lot of identity crisis. It says, who am I? What do I represent? How do I heal? How do I realize that single motherhood is not a relationship status, but it's a tax bracket? And once I shift my paradigm, it's like, okay, how do I get active to make sure that I can take care of my family? How do I put groceries on the table? How much salary do I need to bring in, because that determines where I can live and how I live. Once you come out of yourself and what happened to me and wherever your partner or ex-partner is, you realize like, okay, this is how the nation sees me, and then you can put your thinking cap on. The accelerator is for single mothers who may have found stability in self. They need help self-actualizing, right? So that is like, okay, I'm stuck at this $65,000, $75,000 loophole. what is the next step for me to tap into what I really see? Because is it a certification? Am I getting a lot? Was I in an accident? Do I have a lump sum? Should I buy a new car? Should I talk to a broker and figure out how to buy a business? These are people who like, you know what? I'm not waiting on the help. I'm going to be the help, and I'm going to do a little bit that wasn't done for me. And these are the things that I have access to, and this is the structure, and this is the Legacy of Luxury Academy. So the programming is the programming. It's the same as any other accelerator or incubator, right? It's just like Mary Kay. The name changes, but the wheel stays the same. You come, you spend either 8 weeks or 12 weeks. You get a stipend, you graduate. We have a thing. It's a whole tour. But right now, it's
But
just
I'm gonna have to stop you on that, because I would say, like, I don't think it's just like any other accelerator incubator. I mean, I think if you're talking about just framing of time, maybe, but like I think that I haven't heard anybody really talking about this concentration on single motherhood and like what that means for your identity and for how you think about yourself financially. I think there's broader programs that just go like moms, but I think like you're speaking very specifically. And what's interesting, even through my journey, I'm sure Takia, same kind of thing, right? Like this journey of like deciding that you're gonna be the breadwinner, you're gonna make money by your own talents, and then you're going to move yourself into another tax bracket, and you're gonna put your kids through like all of that kind of stuff that both of us have done. It took an immense amount of lifting of the spirit, of lifting, like knowledge wise. You could be hella smart and still like hit this patch of like, I thought I was about to be married, or I thought I was, I didn't plan to have, I planned to have a whatever the life looks like, and then my life ain't about to be that. And so what is it about to look like? Because I can't stop. I got to raise these kids. I got to get this money. You know what I mean? You turn on a muscle, like you turn on a switch hits, and you like, I got to get this money. Like I can't worry about nothing else. I got to get these kids fed. I got to make sure, I got to build this network up to figure out who gonna support me. And people say, oh, there's so there's so many resources for single mothers, and I'm like, where? Because I ain't seen them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all talking about. Like I'm out here looking for them. Okay, where they at? And there's things that you learn on how to navigate the system when you have different, social services and things like that. You can negotiate some things, but they don't tell you that openly. That's not something that it don't come home in a pamphlet to tell you that, like, hey, if your kid is in AAU, but you want public assistance locally, you can actually go negotiate your AAU fees. They don't tell you that. AAU will have you think you got to spend $1,000 a pop for everything you're doing for your kid for the year. Nobody tells you that. You know what I mean? And nobody tells you to just go ask them. Hell, even if they don't advertise it, ask them, hey, you got discounts for people dealing with X, Y, and Z? What's up? I tell founders that about conferences on a different note. Like people see a conference and be like, oh, that ticket is X, Y, and Z. I don't know if I can. Yeah, they didn't list a scholarship. Fuck it. Ask them. Hey, look, I'm a founder. I really want to come to this. You got a scholarship for this?
You
dropped
that
Sorry, it's early in the
F-bomb.
morning. But it's, it's what, 10, 11 for y'all. So, it's like it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Where you at? You in Korea. It's 11 o'clock.
I'm in Korea. It's 10. It's 11:15 p.m.
See what I'm saying? So anyway, we gotta let you go, Brittany. I think this is great what you're doing. Because I think like so many people need it, and it's so important. I wish I would have had something like this when I was like just in fight or flight mode, to be honest.
Going surviving.
LegacyLuxuryAcademy.org. Y'all check her out. LegacyLuxuryAcademy.org. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
There is
Brittany.
life after stability. Thank y'all so much.
We'll be in Chicago this weekend too.
I know
BGV
I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I can't. And I'll see you when you get back to Baltimore. Come holler at me.
All the time.
All the time.
All right. Have a good rest of your day. Okay, let me get Robin on up here. So
get Robin up here because we've been cutting up.
I know, Robin. I'm sorry, girl. Thank you for hanging out.
Good evening.
We're gonna get you in here though. You know what I'm saying, Robin? It's been a show. Okay.
That felt like love. I loved it. That was beautiful.
Robin Johnson is a systems builder and founder of DYOOS, with a career scaling product and creative operations at Netflix, Apple, and Uber. She specializes in turning complex product ideas and creative ambition, into scalable execution. Welcome. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm a little tired. It's 7 a.m. here. I'm in LA, but it's fine. I was up,
Same.
I was
Look,
up
you're
till
out.
I don't know why I did that, but it's fine.
Yeah, I'm in LA too. And yeah, so I'm up at 5 a.m. to get these shows cracking. We started at 6. We out here though. We doing when these
Yes,
happen.
We
we
know what
are.
we're doing.
One of the things that's I think becoming a theme of today's show, which like I said, I feel like these themes surface divinely, is operating systems. Right.
Mhm.
Like our first guest, her name was Diana Maturia, and she has a product called Clean, and she's also working with property managers to help them with quality assurance. But again, execution, operations, right? We just had a conversation with Brittany from Legacy Luxury Academy, and we talking about single motherhood, but if we really we talking about operating systems, right? We're talking about like
Mhm.
what is your operating system? How are you defining how you execute these days? What does that look like for you individually? What does that look like for you as a business owner? What does that look like for you as a company? So when we get down to it, we're talking about how refined can executions be. So tell us a little bit about DYOOS and what you're doing with it. What inspired you to start it, and break it down. What exactly is it so people understand?
For sure. It's DIOOS. And
Oh,
it's a
I'm sorry. It was
it's
I didn't
okay.
know Dio.
It's
Well,
okay.
now
I
y'all
don't
know
mind
it's
it being
DYO.
spelled.
Is what how you
I don't
spell
mind it
Dio.
being spelled
Uh,
because when people hear it, they think DIO. So I don't mind. It's all good.
okay,
But
okay.
it's for DIO. DIO OS is a personalized execution system that learns and adapts to your personal working style. So you can continually finish what you start. I don't know if y'all know this, but 92% of people in the world do not finish what they start. They don't finish ambitious goals. And I'm sure we see that around us all the time. So DIO calibrates to each user's psychological archetype, so how your brain works, and it turns your goals and plans into individualized personal roadmaps and missions tailored to you for the correct timelines. It gives you the right scope at the right time every time. And right before you're about to quit, because we all hit that wall at some point where we start the thing and we don't finish, it'll redirect you with a different type of intervention to bring back that momentum and keep you going. So that's DIOOS. I built it because so my mom was a nanny and but a writer at her core, and my dad was a photographer, but a cab driver. And I always wondered why they didn't actually pursue the thing that they wanted to do. And I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, so I was surrounded by people who like had the vision but didn't do the thing. And I thought that was unique to my zip code, to be honest. And like my family, I didn't finish college, I didn't do anything. So I thought I had this motivation issue ingrained in me. And then I got into tech. I was at Uber, jumped into Uber as a customer service rep. I went from the customer service floor to leading HQ, leading creative at HQ. And I realized that it wasn't actually that different. Like the only difference between where I came from and the people I worked with was that they had a system to help them do anything quickly, consistently, and try. So I started building systems internally and deploying them to customers, writers, customer service reps, and I started to repeat the system at every company. And I realized that it could work at scale, but there was a personalization that was missing, right? Like everyone assumes that, okay, this book is going to take me 60 days to write because it took her 60 days to write, but you're different. Your lived experiences are different. Your motivations are different. The reasons you can or cannot do something are natively different. So I started developing personalized OSs, and now we have Dio. That's why I'm doing what we're doing. And the workforce is about to be self-directed. I need more of us operating in a way that works for us so we can actually do stuff. I gave you a lot there.
No, I was letting Takia. Oh wait, we can't hear you,
Oh,
Takia.
we can't hear you.
That was me.
Oh,
That
there
was
you go.
me. I couldn't get my fat finger on mute off the mute fast enough. Girl, because I was like, girl, I need you. Like
I'm here.
that's how I was
I'm
thinking to
here.
myself. I was like, because that was the thing. Like that's a true thing. Like really having a personalized system, because like there are CRMs and different operating systems that are available, you know what I mean, that we've been like shown to use, but they're
Mhm.
not personalized. Like they you need one more thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't need it to look like this. I need it to look like this. I don't need it to do this. I need it to do this. But it's like because they're trying to meet the everybody, like they're focused on getting the most people in. They're not personalizing it down to like this human being needs to work on this thing in this particular way. This is how Takia works. So I guess what like as you build out your system, um how are you making it to, not the tech behind it, but you know what I mean, like how do you make it so that it is personalized? Like what can I change in the features? What can I do to make it like this is I work to help make this work?
So it gives you plans based on what you're doing and the stage you are, right? So let's say you want to build an app in 45 days. You wanted to build the app in 45 days for 10 years. It recognizes first, who are you, right? Are you an optimizer? I'm personally an optimizer. I overperfect things. And so it takes me forever to do anything. And so for me, if it's making a plan for me to do something in 45 days, it's going to give me time boxes that are extremely short, 15 minutes to 45 minutes to each specific thing that I need to do. And then it detects the pattern. If it gives me an assignment and I don't do it, it might rescope me or recognize that, hey, this has happened 3 times. She needs additional support and potentially orchestrate some of the work for you in another tool. That's one example. So it can give you a roadmap. It can just give you a daily mission. You can work with your friends in it for like group accountability, body doubling, etc. There are a lot of ways that it adapts to you, but the short answer to your question is it spends time actually recognizing why you're not doing the thing that you're doing and gives you a reflection.
Spin it.
That's
So over the course of time too, I wonder, and I'm not sure if this is built in. If not, maybe it's a
Let's go.
tweak of the future. But after so many times of recognizing why I'm not doing what or finishing my task, I wonder, does it then sort of read me? You know what I mean? Like, hey, actually, we've noticed over the last 6 months and 15 tasks, you keep this is the constant stopping point. So actually, what can we do to solve this in your identity, personality, workflow all the way? Like, does it do that?
Yeah, it does do that, and it does that from day one. You don't even need to wait 60 days. It starts tracking your insights immediately, and you can see them. There's a dashboard where you can see, like, personally, I hate my dashboard, to be honest. It says my biggest issue is exposure anxiety, which is why I'm doing this. I'm like, let me just start talking. So it's like when I started, 90% of my missions that I skipped would expose me in some way. And now we're at like 30%. So it's actively even helping me just change it because it'll give me a challenge to do. Or it'll give me a mission that's like, you have to get on TikTok and make a 60-second video. I'm giving you 15 minutes to do it. And you have to submit your proof. So it gives you the insights that you're asking for as you go along. And then over time, you can see. And if you stop for a while, it'll nudge you. It'll say, hey, come back in here. Let's try it this way instead. If you have friends in there, they can tell that you're not doing anything. So if you told Takia, hey, I'm gonna do this show for the next 6 months, and you're not in Dio, she sees that you're not in there, you're not active. Takia can like, hey, what's going on with the show? Or she can bring you into a sprint where you guys execute on your show for 30 days. So you work together on it or challenge each other. So there
I
are
love that.
I do too, because don't Dio sound like your homegirl. Don't, because now I'm starting to think like now I'm about to look, I'm about to join Dio, right? I'm about to like I'm like, let me call Dio.
Yes, I
exactly.
love that. I love that because also so many people are like, "Oh, let's start an accountability group." But
Yeah,
like you need something to hold a group accountable to being accountable. It's like, who's gonna take the
exactly.
lead here though? All of us need to be accountable, but nobody's holding it's like who takes the lead on the accountability group, right? Like, yeah.
Exactly. So in this way, you don't have to think about it. Dial will handle it for you. And again, all of you need different things. Like you have a group of 8 people. We have 8 different archetypes natively, but then there's like 24 different reasons someone could not do something or do something, right? Like what actually motivates someone to execute and what makes them stall. So nothing that exists optimizes for that, and that's a part of why I wanted to make Dio as well. Everybody assumes that the human knows what they're doing, right? Like they assume that planning is the end all be all. Like if you plan it, it'll get done. That's not true. That's why you can move deadlines. I'm queen of moving the deadline, but Dio won't let you. If you set a goal, then that's what it is.
So is this out now? Like where can people can go to join Dio right now and join? Like is it ready? Is it deployed? Like where are you in the
we are in beta. So we're letting about 50 people in every single week. So if you go on our wait list, there's a free wait list. You can join that, or there is a founding membership if you want to support us as builders, and then you'll get in even earlier. But the full public beta will be happening late June, and then we go public launch in October. God willing. Fundraising is hard, but in the fall we'll be completely public. It is also called procrastination. Sorry, I saw a chat. It's definitely a procrastination. Productive procrastination is what Dio is solving as well.
Well, shout out to you for you can tell Dio that you absolutely did an exposure task this week. And so it can be proud of you. So I joindio.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, beautiful. Bye. I'm about to call Dio.
I'm about to call somebody with this dog. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Okay, there we go. Can you hear it? Can you hear the dog barking?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I was trying to mute back and forth.
So no. Like sometimes she wasn't. Sometimes she was having a good time. She's not having it right now. She heard your voice, like let her know that you about to get off. She said, I know it's almost time.
That's it. Every time Skylar leaves the room, does she get upset? But this is so good. This is so good. I mean, every show ends up just being so rich and communication, you know what I mean? So you go get some rest. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, I will be back here with the same shenanigans.
There we go. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate y'all. This is the 30-Day Show, BGV Edition. I am Omi Bell, my co-host Sakia Ross, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Okay. All right, y'all. We out.